Okay. Touristic villages in Galala and Soukhna area in Egypt. طبعا this area was is located at the tip of the Gulf of Suez, part of the Red Sea. And it includes the coastal areas and the mountain areas of Galella. This part, as the rest of the Red Sea shores and Sinai, witnessed rapid changes during the past 40 years since the after the end of 1973 war and the peace treaty in 77 and the resume of the construction and touristic activities in the area. The area is, as I said, is partly the coastal line between Ain Soukhna and Zaafarana, and it also includes the Galala mountain and new developments on the Galala in the city. What has been witnessed recently is the climate changes in different parts of the world and the intensification of the climate phenomena, hurricanes, floodings, and earthquakes and tsunamis, the different types of environmental phenomena that are being experienced in different parts of the world, and this is also being experienced in Egypt as well. Along with these environmental changes, we are also witnessing changes of the physical environment of the mountains and the coastal areas due to the rapid and increased levels of development by building touristic facilities, residential areas, universities like our university in Galala, and many types of activities that are going on. Some are organized and others are not organized. And this will be the focus of our study, trying to understand the area and how it is experiencing these kinds of changes. What is feared most in this part of the world is the impact of the rainfall, and as we have experienced recently, only 2 weeks ago, floodings due to the intensive rainfall that happened near Zaafarana area, and several touristic villages were flooded by this water. We'll try to understand, is there a real threat, and how can we manage that threat in these touristic villages that represent huge amount of investment and development. First, the area, as I said, this is located on the Gulf of Suez, just south of Suez city, 60 kilometers. The length of this development between Soukhna and Zaafarana is about 64 kilometers. This area is accessible from Suez and from Egypt through the Soukhna Road and also Beni Suef Road. And this area was known for a long time Ancient Egyptians used it as an industrial port to bring materials from Sinai, like copper and sapphire, and manufactured there and then transferred to Cairo and other areas. As these recently discovered remains in the area of workers, accommodation, and manufacturing facilities, and there is a excavations still going on. There is also the old famous hot spring, or the Galala and Soukhna, that is located there. It's one of the hot springs that are coming from the Galala mountains, and it was an attractive touristic, or not attractive, any place for Egyptians to go for treatment and enjoyment. This area, as we all know, is very famous from old time, before the wars, as it was featured in several movies. The most important one is Ibn Hamido, where several scenes were taken in that particular area. The development in the area started from the Suez part, closest part to Suez, where there is the Soukhna port and the industrial areas. There is also the first sector of the development before Galella access, Galella mountain access. This part includes early types of developments and hotels and activities. And then there is the middle part that is around the area of Porto Soukhna and other gated resorts and touristic villages. The third and last part is closer to Zaafarana and access to the Galala road from Zaafarana, where it is famous with its diving and fishing activities. So actually the development went as expected, closer to Suez and Ismailia, and going down towards Zaafarana, and then Guna, Hurghada, and Safaga. Recently, the construction of the mountainous road of Galala Road created other opportunities for connections with the Galala city and the Galala resort. Also, two other connections that connect the area with the coastal road. This is, of course, creating more opportunities and increased interest that actually turned the area into an attractive retirement community for many Egyptians who are living there permanently and managing their work online, as the coronavirus opened up the world of online activities for work, business, education, and several people are permanently living there and rarely go to Cairo and other cities. So the potentials of increased development are very high. Galala city and the university are changing the economic and demographic composition of the area with a new younger generation of students, and are living now in several of these touristic facilities, especially in the Porto Towers, along as faculty members and employees who reside either in the housing of the university and use the facilities regularly, or live in some of these touristic facilities. So we are witnessing major demographic and economic and behavioral changes in the area and increased population in the area. So the coastal part was the main attraction that used to have to accommodate the different touristic facilities. As I said, we start near the port of Soukhna to the older touristic villages like the Soukhna Hotel, Port Trail, Higaz, and then we go to the newer part of the Galala resort that is connected to the Galella city through this mountainous roads. And then we go to the Siesta, one of the also the oldest communities on the mountain here, and then the Porto Soukhna, which is a major attraction for tourists and visitors due to its close to the marina, the only marina in the area where fishing, diving, entertainment activities, sailing can take place over here. And then we continue to the newest part of the development, where we find Telal and La Vistas, La Vista 6 and 1 and 2 and 5 and Topaz and Gardens and 7 and 3 and the several La Vistas here, and then other major activities like Stella de Marie and the Sea View and the Cancun, and then we end up with Zaafarana city that is close to the wind farms. This area is has a major electricity production, renewable energy through the large wind farms located in this area due to its continuous wind throughout the year, and it's a beautiful area of technology in that part. And as we said, the touristic villages started with all types of linear units overlooking the sea. And then there was the Porto Soukhna that changed the character of the area, but it's by its first high-rise, or not high-rise, multi-story structure that's called the pyramid. It's not pyramidic, but it's a composition of linear apartment building that is taking the shape of the mountains behind, and it has major attractions of restaurants, shopping, and entertainment activities in the ground floor. It is the major attraction in the area. And then we have the newer or the middle type of touristic villages, and then we have the latest types of that are represented by La Vistas and Telal and other touristic villages. So we can read the area as 3 generations. of touristic villages. As we see here, we have some examples of these touristic villages that, of course, the main point of the planning of these touristic villages is how to provide maximum sea view for all the units. So many of them depend on this U-shaped design to provide a view, even small, very tiny, small view of the sea in between the units. Some are taking advantage of the difference in height and the topography of the area by creating different steps and accommodate large numbers of units that are directly overlooking the sea. Of course, the main goal of all the designs is to provide maximum view to the sea for all the units, because this is what actually promotes the sale of the units to the public. However, as you have seen, most of the development is taking part on these areas that are on the sea directly. The other parts are not usable, are not feasible, because they are mainly mountains directly on the touching the water, with very small area provided for the street or the coastal road. So there is a new trend now that is going up to the mountains and reclaim the areas on top of the mountains and prepare it for development and build on it. The view from the top of is also beautiful, but it's not comparable to the direct access to the sea as provided by these other areas. So if we see how this change happened in recent years, we find that these areas were mainly small parts extending from the land towards the sea. The old coastal road was here, and this is what the current situation. The coastal road was diverted away from the coast, and the development increased in that area. This is a Galala resort, where it is connected with this road to the Galella city, 700 meters above the sea level. This is, of course, the same situation with all the areas. Before the development, it was just small part extending from the land towards the sea, and then it is used to make these touristic villages. So where did this area came from? This is the big question. Why is it not like the rest of the land, just mountain and sea directly? This is an image of Al-Hijaz, one of the oldest villages in 1985. And this is the situation in 2007. So as we see in 85, it was just a piece of land overlooking the sea. And in 2007, it is fully occupied with chalets, restaurants, buildings, and so forth. These are also other examples of development. This is Porto Sokhna, also in 85. It was just a piece of land near the mountain, and then started the marina, Dome Marina, and the other developments, 2011 and 2021, as a few days ago. And the development, as you see, is going up above to the mountains and increasing the occupation in that area. This is the Blue Mar, which is also another development. And this is the buildings distribution in the site. So as we see, the design focuses on creating interior gardens with swimming pools and trying to provide some view of the sea from these small alcoves inside the village. So the main strategy of the design is how to provide a view of the sea for all the units and provide swimming pools inside where people can use and enjoy. So this is the massing and of the units of this example. And this is a typical example of all the touristic villages there. Designs that are benefiting from the difference in levels between the sea, shore, and the roads. Designers, they create different levels and they put the units on them so that they have sea view for all the units and provide swimming pools and landscape between them. A typical section of the development, this is near Porto Sokhna. We have the coastal road here. The coastal road is blocked from the sea by a fence. So when you are driving here, you cannot see the sea anymore, except in the small parts where there is no development on the sea. You can see the sea directly. There is many beach activities, umbrellas, sitting areas, and so forth for private use. And that is also the case in most parts of the Sokhna, where most of the beaches are occupied by the touristic villages overlooking them. We have, of course, in the background, we have the mountains and the activities along the road. When the new development or the recent development that is happening in Sokhna is the Galala city development. And if we look quickly at how this city came to existence in very short time. Actually, this is the site of Galella city in 2003. And this is in 2007, we start to see some development of the road going up to the area. And in 2017, this is the Galala mountain road. And this is the area of the first phase of Galala city. There is a beautiful part here that is a mountain, a drop on the mountain that is overlooking the sea, that has developed into a mountain corniche. In 2018, we start to see the roads and the roundabouts and the development of the Galala Mountain Panorama Road or Corniche. And 2020, this was the situation. This is the university. This is the land of the university, and this is the downtown of the city of Galala. And these are developments, hotels and residential developments around it. And this is the Galala Mountain Corniche. And this is in 2021, the university and some of the residential compounds or areas that have started to appear. And this is the downtown. Of course, these areas will all be built and constructed in the future after the opening and development of the city. This is only one part, a small part of the overall plan of the city, which is the phase 1. There is still a northwest extension and southeast extension that is connected to the coastal road with this mountain road, and it is connected directly to the Galala mountain road on the other side. And there is big potential for this city in the future. The main or the most important part, of course, is the university that is creating a center of attraction and development and opportunities for work and study. So I think this is already changing the economy and demography and activities and in the coastal area, and definitely it would be a driving force for the continuation of the city. These are some pictures of the Galella city roundabouts. This is the College of Architecture that we have at Galella City. This is part of the downtown, shopping, offices, other activities. And this is the University Convention Center. This is the Galella mountain corniche on top of the mountain, as seen from below, and it has sitting areas, viewing areas, restaurants, mosques, and other entertainment activities accessible by the mountain road, as seen here. What concerns us is how this is going to sustain the expected climate change that we are witnessing now in the area. That is a major challenge that is facing us, and as the UN Paris Agreement adopted 2015 sets out to the limit warming to less than 2 degrees, temperature increase above pre-industrial levels. The latest science warns that we should be aiming to keep warming below 1.5 degrees if we are to avoid worst climate impacts. We are already seeing some ugly climate impacts in different parts of the world, and we hope that we don't witness that here. The implications of this climate impact will be increase in air temperature, increase in seawater level, change of rainfall pattern and floodings in terms of intensity and quantity. As we see in the graphs here, this is the temperature change in Sukhna from 1979, which about the time that this area started to develop until 2020, and we witnessed the increase in the temperature and the warmer weather it is getting. So if we look at the numbers, we see that there is a temperature change that is, the trend is about plus 2.1, and the mean is about 0.9. And that is an alarm for everyone to notice. Another thing is the yearly precipitation in the area. There is also a change that worth recognizing. And as we see here, the change of the precipitation in this area, while we have a trend that is going down, minus 1.6, the mean is increasing to dramatically to 48.7. It means that there is intensification of the activities of the precipitation in the area. We might be getting less amount of rain, but the intensity and the damage that it can cause is higher. So in general, we find that the area is getting warmer, and the amount of precipitation is intensifying as compared to the past. So how this will impact the touristic villages? In general, what is expected is that this rain will be collected from these huge mountainous areas that where the rain falls. And
sorry, Professor Yasser.
Yes.
Your internet is unstable, I think so, because your voice is not stable.
Maybe because I'm
okay. You're using a mobile package, mobile package. Okay.
We can expect that here.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
I think it will come back quickly now. So, as I said, what is expected is that this rain will come down from the mountains through specific paths that are very ancient from all time. That these same paths of the rain floodings occur, and actually these rain paths they are the ones that created these areas of land that we see in the on the coast, and specifically used for touristic villages. So as we see here, also the old paths of the rain, they create these lands over thousands and thousands of years, and we can, in few years, and occupy them and build on them. The alarming point here is that these areas remain the areas in danger when major floodings happen. We haven't seen any major floodings so far recently, but we see some indications of floodings happening like last month, and if this trend increases over the years, I think it needs to be monitored, and a major defense mechanism for these areas should be implemented. If we look at the design of some of these villages, as they all make designs that are stepped and looking at and the sea from different levels. These are not compatible with the natural passages of the rain that were created over thousands of years. This, if we superimpose these two together, we see that if the rain, and this will be very probable in the future, if the rainfall floodings follow the same passage that they used to follow in the past, I think they will be creating big damages to the villages and the facilities on the sea shores. After studying this condition in this part of the world, of course, we noticed that the rapid increase in development activities, touristic, industrial, education, commercial, and housing is very high compared also to 10 or 20 years ago, due to the introduction of new roads like Galala Mountain, and new facilities like the university and the industrial areas, and the new Sukhna port that is under development now and construction. We also noted the increase in population and different age groups that are using the area, instead of just mid-age families coming for touristic activities. We have senior citizens living there as a retirement community. Also, we have youth who are coming to study in the university, and they prefer to live there, and instead of commuting every day. And so there is a need for services. There is absence of many services for employees, for people in general. There is no affordable housing where any workers and employees can use. There is lack of commercial and transportation for the workforces. There are some transportation hubs, informal and street vendors occupying the side roads. We also have problem with the trucks using the coastal road, carrying heavy loads of construction materials and damaging the road, and creating pollution and noise and accidents due to speed and loads and so forth. Landscaping is also a big question because of the intensive use of water for irrigation, of the type of landscape used in most of these touristic villages. There are no public beaches. There are some areas that are deserted, that are used by weekend vacationers who come by buses or cars, and it's a very, very bad situation for people to use. No facilities, no toilets, no showers, no changing rooms. I think these areas need to be improved a lot. We have informal transportation hubs, microbuses, buses parking here and there. A very chaotic situation along the road. Of course, near the Port of Sukhna and McDonald's, a sign that created, of course, as McDonald's does everywhere, a landmark for meeting and travel for people. There are many unplanned constructions of informal activities like fishing kiosks, seafood restaurants on the side roads. These are poorly constructed and poorly maintained. Yeah. As I said, the landscape used in many of the touristic villages is very problematic. It uses a huge amount of fresh water for irrigation, and this water is penetrating the soil, especially on the mountain, and it creates hazard due to the fragile nature of the mountain. This mountain is very fragile as a geological type of stone, and the amount of water will damage the soil rapidly. Heavy trucks traffic on the coastal road with hazardous materials, oversized materials. Of course, it's ruining the asphalt road, creating pollution, creating noise all the time, and it's really a negative condition there. Also, development along the coastal line is really damaging the sea itself and the coral reefs. The coral reefs are just few meters away from the shoreline, and these developments are really ruining the coastal line and the coral reefs that are there for thousands of years. Of course, the Ministry of Environment is imposing several laws and regulations, but still there are some conditions that are really not acceptable, blocking the sea and increasing the height like this. Another hazard that is also expected is the debris, the result of the leveling of the mountain for construction. These debris will create a hazard. If there is rainfall, it will be huge masses of stone coming down from the mountain towards the coastal areas. Conclusion, we have to expect environmental changes that will happen in the near future. These changes are also coupled with modifications being applied to the coastal area and the mountain. The increase of the human development and activities in the area, and there are several threats that are identified, including the debris resulting from the modifications and leveling of the hills, landscaping, plants and irrigation, destruction of the marine life, vehicular traffic, unplanned developments. All these are major threats that should be addressed and recognized and dealt with. The research has shown that climate change will resonate with diverse audience when it is situated in cultural values and beliefs. it is meaningful to that audience, and it empowers specific action. So we need to address all these concerns and provide adequate solutions in proper timing to avoid any damages. Of course, this will lead us back to our theoretical framework of sustainable tourism development model that incorporates the natural environment, the built environment, the economic sustainability, and the human environment in one coherent approach. Focusing only on one or two creates hazard for the rest of the elements of the model. So we need to introduce or act according to all aspects of this model equally. Solutions should address all these concerns at the same time: the built environment, the natural environment, the economic sustainability, and the human development. It's a win for all or lose for all. And thank you very much for your patience and for your time and listening.